just looking at the way Chelsea are coming out, there's a confidence about the team, even though the difficult cup semi-final last week in the last minute. But they have to be at their best, and they want this in the second leg not to be over. That's what the job is right here, right now.
If you're going to do well in this competition, recent history tells you you will have to beat at least one of Wolfsburg or Lyon to get there, and maybe both. Lyon put 6 past the Wolves over their 2 quarter-final legs. Chelsea getting the better of Paris Saint-Germain in dramatic fashion. A late goal did the job the last time they were in France. Hoping for something equally sensational today. Something, as Pat says, to take back to Greater London a week from now. Lyon so well versed in the business end of this competition. Chelsea aiming to be up at this lofty height on a regular basis. And it is a second successive season at this stage for the Blues. A year ago tomorrow, they had a dream start at home to the nemesis that is Wolfsburg. But the early G goal was as good as it got. 1 Lyon change from the second leg victory at Wolfsburg last month. Majri making way for Delphine Cascarino. Le Sommet is a major goal threat. She will support the Ballon d'Or winner Heidelberg in attack. Lucy Bronze, though, the most familiar name for English viewers, and the English international is, of course, very well known indeed to most of the Chelsea side. Reynald Pedros there, the Lyon boss. Katalin Kulchar heads a largely Hungarian team of officials for this semi-final first leg. Groupama Stadium, very impressive indeed. And these Chelsea players hugely looking forward to playing in it in front of a crowd they think will be up to 20,000. 3 changes from Emma Hayes here, with Blundell, Spence and England all dropping to the bench from the second leg 11 in Paris. It means a reshuffle at the back, Mjelde moving across as Millie Bright returns, and real dynamism coming in both midfield and attack, with Cuthbert and Kirby both starting. Pat Nevin, it is an attacking-looking Chelsea side.
That's an ultra-positive-looking Chelsea side. Slightly surprised by it, but happily surprised by it. You know, if you get to this level, you have to basically pick your best players, your most creative players on the field as well. A bit of a height difference between the 2 skippers there, I think we noticed. That doesn't matter in this game. Most of the play will be on the deck. Chelsea will want that as well, because if you've got G and Carney, Kirby, Erin Cuthbert, she's got great creativity as well, getting the balls to the like of Bachmann. That's a very, very positive-looking group out there for Chelsea.
Lyon top of the league in France with a couple of games to play. Ridiculous records going on there. Emma Hayes loves this stage, I think, as much as anyone at the whole football club. So desperate to be on it in the first place, has done so well in it in this relatively short history. These are the games, the tests that she wants her side to have, and it is a big test here. By the way, the other semi-final gets going later this evening. It's Barcelona and Bayern Munich about to play their first leg. Budapest in May is where they all want to be. Lyon fans used to seeing wins and goals. 18 wins in the league, 2 draws and no defeats. It's a frightening record. We're just about ready to go.
Yeah, it's a great turnout as well. Fantastic turnout in this stadium. Fabulous stadium as well. Let's hope nobody's spooked by it in Chelsea Blue. I don't think they will be.
It's the stage you want to be on. It's a stage Lyon are very used to, and Chelsea are becoming used to. Lyon have not been knocked out of this competition since PSG did it to them in the round of 16 back in 2015. There's a frightening thought. Hat-trick of continental titles, and Chelsea burst that bubble.
Emma get hit right in the back of the head there, I noticed. You have to keep your eyes open all the time.
Not always on the deck then. So here's Lucy Bronze It's been so good. Lyon acquisition, having played against pretty much all of these Chelsea women in her time on Merseyside and in Manchester. They also in midfield have another WSL experience in Jess Fishlock. Here's Karen Carney, who has won this competition before in her Arsenal days. Recent months and years, all those who played with her and had been then playing in Chelsea Blue with her have left the Blues brigade. Lots of Davison and Chapman and Julie Flaherty. Heidelberg immediately making a dart through the middle there. Brighton Eriksson will have to be very sharp with her around, and Magda Eriksson will be pleased to have a big game like this, Pat, to get over what was, we could say it from a distance, just a nightmare moment in stoppage time. Chelsea losing that cup semi-final to City in the 92nd minute through her own goal last weekend.
Yeah, it was harrowing. It's one of those ones you want the ground to open up and swallow you, because there wasn't even a lot of pressure on either. But, you know, they happen sometimes, but because it happened in the last minute, there wasn't a chance to come back from it. Chelsea had actually played quite well and had a good few chances in that game, so hard one to take, but that's football, and it's how you react to it, is how you find out what standard of player you are.
Just beaten to it in the air there, Eriksson by Heidelberg. Cascarino with the early cross. Just a little too much for Le Sommet, who's got 5 goals already in this season's Champions League. Le Sommet, look out for her coming from the left. Scored the extra time goal in last season's final as well, and in both legs of the quarters. Needless to say, this Lyon side score a lot. 7-0 aggregate win against Avaldsnes in the last 32, 13-0 aggregate win over Ajax, and 6-3 over Wolfsburg. Wow.
It would scare some players, but I think these Chelsea players have been through a lot, you know, and if you look at the likes of G in the midfield there, they've all played at top level, you know, World Cups. So many players here have got 100 caps, you know, but so have Leon. Each one of those players are fantastic. I mean, just watching even just Heidelberg at the moment, she cruises across the ground. She just looks so comfortable. She's not got much done yet, but she's going to be a very, very difficult player to mark all day.
Captain Renard, the giant at the back. Should be said, Chelsea, although it was tight against PSG, 3-2 aggregate win right at the death. Before that, 7-0 winners on aggregate over Fiorentina, and 11 unanswered goals in the last 32 before that as well. Sommet with the header, Millie Bright back in the side. Yelder pushing from centre half to right back today. Hannah Blundell perhaps a little unlucky to be left out.
Just watching the way Chelsea are playing just now, it's almost an affected 4-5-1 that becomes a 4-3-3 when they attack, and that's no surprise because that's the way that, you know, the opposition have set up. So you can basically say, right, this is my player, I need to take care of them. And just watching Karen Carney, she's got a job on today, hasn't she, with Lucy Bronze?
4 minutes of ball domination from Lyon. Fishlock, first shot on target is a tame one.
And Karen coming back, and we know what she's quite capable of, and she's a top-class player herself. But Lucy Bronze, at her best, is bordering on unstoppable. And the times at the Euros when I went to see her there, she was like just phenomenal. No one in the competition could get close to her. We've not seen any of those overlaps yet, but we should keep our eye out for them.
You'd imagine over the 2 legs that'll be one of the key battles. Here's Basha on the other side of the Lyon defence, but it's been more offensive from them in the early part of the game, as you'd expect. They're a strong favourite, very strong side. Henri running the channel and winning the throw.
Yeah, but good work there. It was Erin Cuthbert getting back there. Known as a very creative, almost a number 10 a lot of the time, but she can fight and battle with the best of them as well, and has to do so, and they'll all have to do that in this midfield for Chelsea today.
Right, got enough on it and got plenty on that clearance, no messing. I think we're still waiting for Frank Kirby to have a touch. Extra emphasis on Chelsea, not just because of the enjoyment of this competition over recent seasons and this season, but won't be getting a top 2 finish in the WSL. Might have to win it, or will have to win it, to play in it again next term. Here's G, who would like to be playing her football further up the pitch than this, and hopefully that period will come. I'm sure they'd have expected to be ceding possession in the early stages, Pat.
Yes, so, but, you know, they're so used to playing, you know, at the very top level in England, and they'll be controlling many games, but it's a 4-5-1 that you want to be a 4-1-4-1 sometimes. But you don't get a chance to do that yet because they're all getting pushed back. That's why you've got Cuthbert getting pushed all the way back. But Carney's had to chase back all the way there because right-hand side, Lucy Bronze makes her first hammer up the right-hand side. So they're all in that midfield getting pushed further and further back because they can't get on the ball.
Basha to Mbok. Switch comes again from Bronze, and it's a beauty of a pass, that. The layoff was tempting, but the shot not so hot. They've just taken a nick on the way through.
Yeah, looks like it. No, it shows you something about, you know, it's warm weather, you know, it's going to be tiring, but it's so much more tiring in any game of football if you're not got the ball and you're chasing it. Chelsea haven't stand up the very, very few times managed to get the ball in the opposition half so far in this game. 7 minutes in.
Marojan with the corner. And it found the head of Heideberg.
She's very good in the air. She's tall centre forward. She can actually play a little bit wider, but she wants to be more central. She'll also be fresher. That's the big thing about Heideberg. She's not playing for her country anymore. Norway, she's refusing to play. So she's now, you know, fresh for every single club game. And I know there's a lot of internationals around the world that think they're not delighted with that because she keeps that freshness for these club games.
Scored in that extraordinary final last season. Leon Wolfsberg again in the showpiece. 0-0 after 90 minutes. 4-1 after 120. Bachmann, nominally at least, up top with Kirby today with G in support, but they've had to do all their work inside the Chelsea half thus far. Sophie Ingle keeps it moving. Jonna Andersson.
Those are the sort of moments that are really important. Got good possession. Sophie Ingle's the one that's central in that whole area, and you've got to hold it there. You've got to keep a lot of possession. Don't push it at that point in time. You know, there's so much pressure. You're going to, you know, you've got to give your defenders a little bit of a rest now and again.
No need to force it. Here's Cuthbert trying to slip it through for Kirby. That was an inventive and I think the right idea that time.
Yeah, you force it in the last third. That's where you do the forcing, because it's harder to make those passes and you have to take a chance with them. But look at the work rate of all those Chelsea players. 1 minute you're playing a ball through the middle, next minute you're right back.
Mjelde standing firm and had to time that right and did, with Le Sommet hoping she'd sneak in round the back.
Putting a lot of pressure on Mjelde, right full back, aren't they? A lot of cross balls from the right hand side over to the left there. She's made the perfect tackle there, but constantly, time and again, they're putting that ball over to Le Sommet. I think they believe they can get a little bit of joy over there.
Berger staying sharp at her near post. It wasn't meant to go there.
It's pinged in there at some pace. You know, it's one of those ones you go and make the first step out to try and go and catch the ball, but you had to move swiftly. Never in doubt.
Conceded a couple in the early minutes of the second half in Paris in the last round, and Katrin Berger, one of which was an own goal from her. A little bit scary. And then Maren Mjelde with the last gasp winner. Tie that was all square at 2-2 at that point. Important intervention from Andersson, because Cascarino was off then, off and running.
That was a good little piece of play there by Brighton Eriksson, sorry. They have to play together now and again and hold the ball up, because give it away too often, this happens.
Basher on the charge.
Yeah, it feels like a backs to the wall one today, understandably. This is to some degree what you expected, and yeah, Leon are pushing it early, aren't they? Yeah, they're going to have to do that. They want to try and get, you know, their heads in front in this game, and then they can take their foot off the gas and enjoy it. But it's all about that first goal, isn't it? Chelsea trying really hard to limit the chances, and there haven't been that many clear-cut ones yet.
Nope, arm's length so far, at 11 minutes in. It's one way for now. Cascarino wanted the corner.
It'd be a slight surprise that Cascarino got the nod there, because Kumagai, she's in the top 6 for the BBC World Player of the Year this year, and she's on the bench though, so she may well come on at some point in time, but she's a fabulous player too.
Lyon have won 14 of their last 15 games, the exception being a 0-0 with Man City. Their last defeat was 2 years ago. Lost a second leg to City in a tie they still progressed from. Bachmann on for Kirby, trying to give Renard a problem here. She's done well, Kirby. Still got to Bachmann. Nolri mopping up first. Little threat there from Chelsea. Home fans want a foul, they're not going to get it. Here's Karakani.
That's better, much better. Play through the midfield, hold the ball a little bit. Just a little bit of hope beginning to spring forward from Chelsea at the moment. I think that ball played up there into the box, twisting and turning. Now, Renard is huge. She's a very, very tall player. But get down low, twist and turn it, there might be a weakness there.
That's the job for Bachmann and Kirby if they can. Mjelder away from the summit. Still going, Maren Mjelder. Oh, there was an over there. If Carney had got the shout, Cuthbert could have been in.
It's one of those ones that's easy to see from up top, isn't it? Just a little dummy's needed there. She's through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper there. I'm not sure how much it would have been deliberate, but just, as I say, just little bits of show coming through now. The Chelsea players are getting into the game, they're passing a little bit better. I mean, beforehand they were put under a lot of pressure and a lot of pace by the French team, but getting a little bit better now.
Well, these are the small margins. You think they're not used to being attacked. They don't really concede many goals. Domestically, certainly, and indeed on the continent, but you can score against them. Wolfsburg scored 3 times against them. And how much do you blunt them by going forward yourself without leaving that back door open? That is the trick that every coach at every level, if there's an underdog and a clear one, has to take into account. Well, it's been a very positive team selection from Emma Hayes here, so it would suggest.
I like that fact that, you know, if you're putting Kirby up there, if you're putting Bachmann up there and Cuthbert, they're not the tallest, but they hold the ball well usually, and they can twist and turn and move with it, and they're skillful players, and they're players with imagination. So it's all about getting good ball to them and good possession to them, you know, in that last third. Easier said than done, but maybe, you know, Emma, who's a fabulous coach, has spotted some weakness, but it's getting at that weakness.
She was just telling someone to get under her. Want the aerial balls up top, that's for sure. Basher in with the challenge. Feels a little more even now.
I mean, everything in a favour, because the home pitch, you know, you've got so many fans, and not that many Chelsea fans in comparison at this game. So everything in your favour, and they know that they have to be really desperately want to get a lead, Lyon, to take to this second leg, which we've already talked about. But, you know, I can see a little bit of, not exactly comfort, but they know they're part of the game now, Chelsea.
Bachmann's first touch made it stick.
Those Lyon shots look like England shots from many years ago.
1982.
I thought you might know that better than me.
I have one. It's small, and the red and the blue on the shoulder are the other way round, but they are very like it. This is, of course, the Lyon men's team new stadium. Only a few years old now. They played the Europa League final here last year, which Atletico Madrid won.
Yeah, it's known for its famous atmosphere. I mean, always a great atmosphere. I'm just feeling just now the tension beginning to just ease away a little bit after that first 10 minutes, which were really difficult for Chelsea there. But, just getting a foothold in the game there, and Sophie Ingles winning another ball.
And that was excellent from Kirby to hold on to it. Gee, just trying to poke it forward, and it's those moments you feel the Blues have got to make count. Bachmann nearly put in, nearly won't cut it. And here's Heidelberg. Millie Bright's got a problem. Marajan. Stand-up defending from Magda Eriksson.
The noise of the crowd when Heidelberg gets the ball.
Bash's cross is overhit. That'll do from a Chelsea perspective.
Yeah, extraordinary, the noise. It just goes through the roof. When she gets on the ball, we know the pace she's got, but she just glides across that ground there. Having said that, you can spend too much time watching her. Very noticeable that Marajan on the ball is a really, really classy player.
Not a great deal for Berger to hit with the long balls. The tall player from a set-piece point of view for Chelsea would be Millie Bright, of course, but in terms of the goal kicks, as Pat mentioned, Cuthbert, Carney, Bachmann, Kirby.
You'd be almost tempted maybe to get Ingles to go out there in the wide area and maybe hit it out towards her, but she's so central there, understandably and rightly so, because she needs to give a little bit of cover in front of the centre-backs. She's done a good job so far.
Henri to Mbop. On to Bronze. And back to Bronze. And neatly done that by Cascarino. Bronze has got the better of Carney. Options in the middle. Chance! Big chance too for Hegerberg. And a top save from Berger.
In many ways, it's the duo that I'd probably fear most. Lucy Bronze came down the right-hand side there. She's bordering on unstoppable. Absolutely brilliant at overlapping. Talked about it right at the start. That's probably her second time that she's tried to fly forward, and you can't stop her. She's just incredible.
Well, they've had most of the ball, most of the threat, but that was them at their incisive best. Thankfully, from a Chelsea perspective, without the end product on it, but only thanks to the excellence of Berger. Corner's gone short. 6 to hit. Punch where a catch might have been better advised.
Well, if in doubt, I suppose you get rid of it and worry about it later, but it did look like one she could have caught. And Chelsea do change their goalkeeper about quite a bit. And sometimes if you're not playing every single week, you can get a little edgy about it.
He's only played one of the league games, and Katrin Berger. No threat from that corner.
Yep.
See Renard trying to get round the back, and you would imagine it seems like Millie Bright will be detailing her on set pieces, and rightly so.
It's difficult to see anyone else who could. She's a very tall player. Not all the tall players are fantastic in the air. I mean, to be fair, Heidelberg in the air is absolutely brilliant. She's unbelievable in the air. I mean, it's one of those things, if you've got all the things, you've got pace, you've got the power, you've got a good shot, but then the cheek to be good in the air as well. It's a bit of a Cristiano Ronaldo thing she's got going there.
As is the Ballon d'Or. Current holder and first winner of it in the women's game. Came short there. Ingle has it for Chelsea. This is G. Cross country for Bachmann, and a really good ball. Captain Carney. Had Bronze one-on-one and so nearly had the beating of it. They do again here. Kirby's done really well. And still Frank Kirby. Goal kick.
Oh, I thought that had been a corner kick there. But odd to see that. I mean, that's twice that the Chelsea players have had a go. And, Lucy Bronze noted for always going forward. To be honest, I still think after second watch there that that's a corner kick. But Bronze quite often isn't asked to tackle anyone defensively for entire games in a row. And there are many that are that good at overlapping that they push their winger back. But that's twice she was taken on there, and twice, it looks as if she had all the answers. So, yeah, I'll lift Frank Kirby and certainly Karen Carney as well.
just a little late with the challenge.
Actually had a really good game so far, Engel. Really, it's one of those impressive ones. Typical deep line midfielder, central. You need to do, some of the dirty work in there. You just make the tackles, cover in the areas. She's actually, I was wanting to hold the ball much better than she had started, and she has now. She's passing it about neatly, and that's one of the reasons why Chelsea are a little bit nearer Lyon in this game.
Fishlock under pressure from the always busy Cuthbert. Well worked again, these two down the right causing Chelsea problems, but Bronze's return pass for Cascarino on this occasion on the heavy side.
Yeah, they look to have good understanding with each other, Cascarino and Bronze. And I think they generally have, and it's worked 2 or 3 times so far. She doesn't lack pace there, but it was interesting, the ball's flicked through there, and she gave up on it quite early. I was slightly surprised at that, I have to say. Sometimes on a field you know fine well that you can make that big 40-yard dash, but you know you're going to lose it by a yard, so it's no point whatsoever chasing it.
Right, banging one down the channel, and Kirby, he's not going to get around Wendy Renard.
So I've got real belief Frank can do Renard. I really think she can. But it's getting enough of the ball in the right areas. Maybe not for pure pace, there's not much in it there, but you get a 1-on-1, twisting and turning in the box. I think she's got a great chance to do it. Maybe get a chance or two.
Chelsea appealing for the free kick and getting it.
It's one of those ones, you get free kicks in this sort of area, more often than not you're thinking, well, get it into the box early. Not sure that's the case, you know, that they've got such an advantage height-wise, so we shall see what Karen does.
Well, hopefully, a usual excellent delivery. Beautiful ball delivered in for Mielder's winner in Paris.
The high line as well, so she's got a lot of space to aim for there.
Right areas, here we go from Carney. Renard is there. G, attempting the spectacular. That was definitely a shot. And Lyon fans getting excited, they thought there was a counter. There wasn't, because Jonna Anderson was always getting there.
Yeah, I don't think it was the right decision there for G. Player out to her wide right there, could have kept possession, put the ball in the middle, and it almost put her team into some danger. That's blocked out, it's going to be really, really difficult to push. Get enough players to come back and cover in that area, so got a little bit lucky there, Chelsea.
Basha forcing Cuthbert back. Not facing the way she wants to go. G is. And that's a lovely pass and a well-timed run from Ramona Bachmann. Kirby is in the middle. It's not going to get there.
I think you're absolutely right about the fact that Chelsea are making good breaks, making good space now. But it's the break on that break that you're worried about, because you know that there's a lot of pace in this Lyon team.
Cascarino sharp enough to get the better of Anderson and Carney, but not G.
That's really good play by G. That's much, much better. Holding the ball in the right areas. If you give the ball in that sort of area and all your midfielders are ahead of you, you can be caught out badly. And that time she got it absolutely right.
Dynamic football this from Chelsea, and again we've had 3 moments like that we've seen where just one pass, a fraction off.
But that's fine though. I mean, it is fine. Chelsea really moving it about better now. This is a much, much more even game, and you do expect that any time you play away from home in Europe against the top team. You're going to have periods of game under extreme pressure. Now, it wasn't extreme pressure those first 10 minutes or so, but Chelsea couldn't get a hold of the ball. At least they're on the ball now. They feel part of the game, and you can feel a bit of confidence growing. You know, that's first quarter done and dusted, and that's what you do. You try to get through periods and games, and Chelsea have managed to get through that period.
Obviously, more often than not over the last few years, domestically, Chelsea have been the dominant side, but in Europe, they've been getting used to having to be the underdog. We've seen the Wolfsburg ties, Bayern Munich as well, which they came through in thrilling fashion, brilliantly and deservedly last term. Every match helps. Something in the bank to take into the next ones. Henry for Lyon. 3-time winners in a row, 5 times overall. In the middle of all that, they lost a final at Stamford Bridge as well to Wolfsburg.
Well played, Karen Carney. Honestly, it's worth the admission fee, just that battle between those two, Bronze and Carney. But obviously Carney's having to do it, not just against her, but against Cascarino as well. Karen Carney's done a great job out there just now.
Hegerberg. Bright able to get in there. Renard mistake.
That term's exactly what I'm talking about. Renard's got maybe a mistake, but she is so tall that her centre of gravity it kind of works against her with Chelsea players.
Wonderful first touch from Cascarino. Anderson sticking with her for now, but Cascarino's worked the angle. Berger would have had that covered. But it's an own goal that puts the holders in front. And after a really good spell of pressure, the Blues are behind in most unfortunate circumstances.
You know, it's really difficult to stomach that if you're Chelsea. I mean, it's good play out there to maybe get a little bit closer. But, that's good little tricky play there. But it's a bit of luck more than anything else. I think the keeper's going to save it, but she can't. And it's heartbreaking. As Ericsson again, she's in a bad couple of weeks. So it's probably going to go, it might go down as an OG, that one. I think that's a bit harsh because she's just trying to cut it out. Keeper, definitely Berger saves it if she doesn't touch it.
Well, the stadium announcer is crying the name of Delphine Cascarino, but Magda Eriksson will be in disbelief, and you've really got to feel for her, and certainly you've got to hope that you keep the head screwed on. Her teammates and her boss become important here, because you wouldn't be human if you weren't a little bit scrambled by that happening off the back of what happened in that cup semi against Man City last weekend. That is extraordinary. What are the odds on lightning striking twice like that?
I mean, this one you shouldn't feel as bad about, because it's an attempted tackle, you're trying to get in the way of the ball, just a bit of bad luck. But once again, there's no other player there, there's not another player beside you, and it's heartbreaking.
Backman for Chelsea, for whom an away goal now becomes even more important. Backman again, Kirby in the middle, Renard stuck out a long leg and got it there. Just commanding header from Millie Bright.
A little bit harsh, that.
I thought the ball looked like it was one.
Both of them going for that there again, but funnily enough, Chelsea's immediately reaction, probably just a foul there. Immediate reaction has been superb. Getting into those sort of areas, I mean, that's good defence. Now, just look at the comparison of that and the goal that Chelsea have just given away. It's a similar ball, it's a similar area. In this case, Renard, she manages to get the right touch on it, whereas Chelsea didn't get the right touch on it, and it's in these tiny, small margins that games have changed.
Customary position for the champions of Europe. Lyon in front. Looking for more here, Le Sommet. Surely don't need to change anything other than the scoreline. Decent performance with a threat carried.
I do think Lyon were getting a bit concerned, and I think they really needed something to happen quite soon there, because Chelsea were without control in the game. They come well back into it, and we're probably just sharing it. And it's a horrible time to lose a goal, and again, it's how you react to it, And I'm really happy with the way that Chelsea players for the next minute or so there got on the ball, wanted to get on the ball, doing exactly the same as they've been doing just beforehand as well. So I suppose now it's getting to half-time and making sure you're still only one down.
And now to play in this first leg, and Reynald Pedros has come down from on high. He's a most impressively French-looking man, isn't he? You're not going to find an English boss looking like that. Cascarino then. So you want that goal. Suggest it might have been heading just wide of the far post. Either way, Berger would have had it.
I've seen one of these people would give it to the attacker every time.
Well, they'd want it,
yep.
And the defender certainly won't, so why not? Marojan, well, cut out by Cuthbert. Ingle under pressure immediately. Leon putting the squeeze on, and it works. Fishlock, and that doesn't work.
Yeah, it was quite impressive pressure that Leon put on there. There's some quite desperate tackles having to be put in just now. Aaron Cuthbert put in 2 or 3 in the left-hand side in this game, went under a little bit of pressure, but she timed them all perfectly. And maybe sometimes you have to do that. You know, when you're being outpassed a little bit, you have to make sure your physical presence is noticed, and the battling qualities have not been missing from Chelsea.
Backman making the run. G saw it.
It's a bit of a shame there were 2 balls on. 2 possibilities that you could have found the right player. Didn't this occasion, but Backman's running there, and ahead of her she's got Kirby's making plenty of runs. You know, there are options, and that's why Pedroche is slightly concerned. That's why he's down. He's worried. He knows that if they lose a goal now, Leon, that's they're in a very, very difficult position.
Not used to conceding, Leon. 82 goals in league play this term. They've conceded 6. Here comes Lucy Bronze. And G is there, well positioned to cut that out. Maybe Kirby just held her run. She looked as if she was shaping to go in behind, then came short. Cascarino, a regular threat on this right side, as Pat highlighted earlier, coupled up with Lucy Bronze there, that is.
It's actually a frightening thing to watch, actually, because they're so difficult to stop, and it's the pure power as well as the pace of Lucy Bronze going forward. And at the moment, I get the feeling that Lucy's got more to give. I really do think that if she needs to go and push forward, but then again, she's got a good player keeping her close. Carney, I think Karen would love to get a little bit closer up to the far side. Chasing down now.
Just popped a cute little ball over the top for Kirby, and Mbok is taking no chances with the defending. 12 minutes to half-time. Narrow and slightly fortunate lead, you'd say, for Lyon. Certainly the better side, but not the only side in this contest. Renard looking long. The minute it bounced, it became a little more slippery for Millie Bright, and Hegerberg has got it. Bright had Mjelde for help, but the danger's not over yet. Need interchange, another deflection.
That's the fear factor. You got Hegerberg going up that left-hand side. She absolutely flew up there. I think there may have been a foul in there, but it is typical of the women's game. I mean, if you get a little bit of push, you don't go and throw yourself to the ground, and I think that was a foul, and the referee should have spotted it. However, in the end, Lyon get their corner kick, and the big players will be coming up for the back again. Reynard, of course.
4 Champions League goals for the skipper, and it's aimed right at her again, as you would. If you had that kind of advantage in your side. Hand up on the far post, she wants that cross coming in now. Fans crying foul for a potential handball against Carney, who could have got rid earlier, and now it doesn't matter that she didn't.
Yeah, I think Carney's heart was in her mouth there just for a moment. She chased down well to get the ball, but you don't take a chance there and try and dribble out in that position and get caught with it. But I don't think it touched her arm at any point there. The crowd have got nowhere, but giving the ball away just there, as we've seen, absolutely don't do that at any point in time. We're all for playing the ball out, but make sure you've got someone to pass it to. But you think about where she is there. When we think about her position, she's been up at centre forward, she's been left wing, she's right back in her own byline there. The work rate of the Chelsea players just now, just to keep it at 1-0, has been extraordinary. And that might be something that pays in the end.
Huge slice from Renard. Bronze back to Mbok. must have had as many touches as anyone on the field.
I can see that one coming a mile away from Millie Bridge. I mean, a couple of times she's been run, but she's done a good job against, you know, arguably the best player in the world at the moment, Hegerberg. But she knew she was going to try and get a little bit of physicality there. Dangerous place to give away a free kick, though.
Great first touch and sucked right in with the second. Berger prepares potentially for more work here. Left foot of Basha, the right of Marajan. It's Basha, and it's comfortable.
We'll have that all day long, and look at the reaction.
They were furious.
They were fuming with her. They know that she's gone for the shot there, but in actual fact, everybody, they've got a whole row, about 5 players. That's not, again, a great touch. It's getting a bit ragged. Just a couple of ragged things happening at the back now from the Chelsea defence, and again, that's physical and mental tiredness. That's what that is, because you've been trying to chase top players all the way through. I suspect if the same player's taking this corner there, she might try and put it in the middle. She can absolutely hammer, but it's not.
No, Basha is staying back, and it's going to be Marajan this time. It's a pretty routine header, that, for a player of Maren Mjelde's class. Marajan delivers. Oh, you're joking. It's got all the way through, and the frustration from Karen Carney, who kicks the post, tells you everything. Lyon, not through their own greater quality necessarily, have found a way to a 2-goal lead before the break here. I'm not sure that corner touched anybody.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I think that's a brilliant corner. I think that's zipped in there with real pace. There may have been the tiniest touch at the front there. It's difficult to see who it was. Maybe even just the ponytail of one of the players caught it. So
maybe Henry or Anderson, they were the two challenged. There might have been a flick on the way through. It didn't really divert the course of the ball much. Anyway, 2 odd goals, but 2 hugely important ones for the holders, Lyon, and a double mounted to climb for Chelsea now. Erin Cuthbert straight away with an excellent ball for Ramona Bachmann here. And there's a chance here for Carney, who could have gone down there. Karen Carney, blocked by Mbok. Here's the funny thing, it's not a great first half scoreline, of course, but 2-1.
Yeah,
take a nap before kick-off.
Yeah, that's okay. The Chelsea players know fine well that 2-1 is a good score, and you know, the reaction after each goal has actually been superb.
Take advantage.
It's just believing in yourself sometimes. Really believe that you're a top team, that, you know, okay, they're big names, they're world-class players, but, you know, they're human as well. They have errors in them. And certainly when Chelsea have broken at pace, they've looked really good. 2-0 down. It's, as they say, suboptimal.
Hegerberg starting the attack and now running forward. And Erin Cuthbert gave herself that free kick. The referee eventually concurs.
I agree with her as well. Again, her tackling has been superb in this game, Erin. I think that's Emma Hayes you can hear there. Play forward, play forward. She just wants this attack, and she knows how important this this away goal could possibly be, because the next goal is probably going to be massively important in this tie, to be fair. You know, whoever scores it, particularly if it's in this game. If Chelsea score it, well, we're still well in the competition. We've got an interesting game ahead, but 3-0, and it's looking a long, long way back for Chelsea.
G to Kirby, just desperate for a sight of goal within the width of the post. Frank Kirby, he's back to take it. Carney's won a corner.
I suppose there was the one, you know, keeper there, Buhadi, she pushed it out, and we had that little one chance for Chelsea. As we speak about it.
See, I thought there was a bit of contact there. I think a more cynical player might have gone down.
It's the women's game. It's fabulous, the honesty in the game. But the referee should give it, even if the player doesn't go down. And that's the one complaint I would make. There's been a couple of occasions when it's happened in this game, but it's one thing I'm not going to complain about the women's game.
Still on her feet. Carney takes the corner. It's over Erin Cuff, but might need to get a little more inventive from set plays, such as the height disadvantage. Here's Lucy Bronze. Those marauding runs have actually been kept to a relative minimum by the Blues in this half. It's been a couple of times, Pat, but it's not been a regular threat.
I think it's mostly Karen Carney understanding how to play it and making sure that she covers in front of her, making sure that, you know, she's got a player to get past and a top quality player to get past first. And in a way, to some degree, Karen's having to give away some of her play going forward to do that. That's what you've got to do sometimes. You know, you're an attack-minded, a forward-minded player who's got that, but sometimes you have to give a little bit of self-sacrifice, and she's done that a bit today.
Basha. Ingle gets the block in. Leon come again. Good foot in from Cuthbert.
Ericsson and Bright sometimes are no nonsense, but you know, playing in that sort of area. It's interesting the way really Bright just walked straight out into the midfield there, as if she felt she was playing in a sitting midfield role. Now you got her back there, you're centre back on this occasion. I know she's quite capable of stepping out and playing that position, as most of the Chelsea defenders are. They are very adaptable. Today's a day to keep a hold of the best player up front there in the world. One of the best. Keep on saying, not everyone agreed with that decision. Hegdeberg.
Ericsson back to Berger. A couple of minutes left plus stoppage time. That's not a great clearance. Jess Fishlock here will have a go. And Ingle again is in the way. And Carney for once has a bit of space and a chance to get a head up, although the space rapidly disappearing. Here's Backman.
You know, it's interesting you say there, when you've got that space to break into, but remember all the running she's done for the past 40 minutes before that, and to have an explosive burst at that point in time where you've probably run more than the opposition, and you can see a little bit that's why she played the ball wide, and there is a bit of legginess about some of the Chelsea midfielders now, and that's not laziness, that's just that's a bunch of players that have worked their socks off.
Made of stern stuff. The Leicester side might crumble against a team as good as Lyon are, and having, well, not given them, but two rather curious goals at the very least. Only one or two times has the actual Lyon football cut them open. That's the threat they possess, though, and that's
beautiful play there. Fantastic play by Marozan. She's as good in the ball as any player in this pitch.
Ingle. Kirby making the run, and Ingle spotted it. Kirby's got them booked one-on-one for now. There's time before this first half whistle goes. Backman. Penalty! Backman goes down in the final seconds of the first 45. And what a chance for the away goal. Sloppy challenge.
Well, the referee's very, very close there. Lisome comes in at the back. She just slipped a lazy leg in there. There's not a lot in it. We'll see a better angle from here. Yeah, just a late... I'll tell you what. I've just been spouting on about how honest the game is. That is as soft a penalty as you will ever see. There might have been a clip, but it took another 2 steps before she went down.
What a moment this is then. Well, there is a little bit of contact there, and that replay was the best angle we've seen of it. Anyway, it's given, and this is a huge moment for Fran Kirby. Lyon don't concede goals, never mind lose games. First half stoppage time. 3/4 of the tie left, but you feel this is absolutely crucial to its outcome. Kirby against Bouhaddi, and Bouhaddi saves! And it's a huge chunk of luck for Lyon, where they've had plenty in the half as it is.
It's such a hard one to take. And it's the last moments as well, but they'll get in and realise they can't control opportunities going forward. That's as good. Keeper's miles off her lines. That's really unhelpful there. But it's a penalty miss, but the chances have been in.
Oh, what a chance for Kirby for an away goal that really would change the complexion of this first leg. First leg that is going the way that the competition pedigree suggested it would. Reynald Pedros' side ahead by 2 rather fortunate goals to 0, with a Frank Kirby missed penalty in stoppage time. Well, it's been a fascinating game in terms of the action, in terms of the tactics. A couple of very odd Lyon goals and one huge moment Frank Kirby would have expected to take. Lyon in charge. Half-time in the first leg of the Women's Champions League semi-final. Chelsea at the Holders Lyon and trailing the Holders Lyon by 2-0. That is not the entire story, though, of a thoroughly fascinating first half.
Just looking at the
Going to have a look at some of the best moments now in the company of Pat Nevin. The early exchanges were complete domination from Lyon, as we would expect of the ball, Pat. They weren't exactly reining in the chances on the Chelsea goal. This was Jess Fishlock.
But that kind of summed up what they were doing right at the start of the game. They were holding the ball well, but Chelsea were keeping a really good line at the back, but also getting 5 midfielders back in front of them as well. So limited real chances there. However, there's always going to be danger in the air because the power, obviously, you've got, well, we've seen that Reynard's a really tall player as well, but we know that Hegerberg's a quality top player, you know, in the air and every other area. And that time she got to it, but we knew that eventually could be a problem. But those breaks were there for Chelsea. It's a real shame that was an opportunity, wasn't it? If she had managed to have got that one out wide.
Yeah, Rabona Bachmann had made the run and was on for sure, and a passer of G's quality might have expected. Now, we've seen plenty from Cascarino and Bronze coming here. This was the best save we've seen of the game prior to the penalty stop. And Katrin Burke with a sharp one, Pat.
Well, that's the best moves have been generally down that right-hand side. They went down the left a few times, but they look much smoother down there. They've got Cascarino, obviously Lucy Bronze, which is a fabulous player, and Hegerberg, she knows where to go in that near post there. So Chelsea got a little bit lucky there, but it was a very good save by Berger.
Cascarino seeing plenty of the ball, and there, via the outstretched foot of the unfortunate Magda Eriksson, and it has gone down as an Eriksson own goal officially. That is how Lyon took the lead.
Yeah, again, I mean, Anderson does quite well there to push her wide. You think that's just a cross going in there. It shouldn't actually be dangerous. It's going through, and I think Berger gets that easy. She just picks it up, but it's that desperation from Eriksson on, and now this was just so painful to deal with. I think it's a great ball.
Marajan delivered it, and it flicked off what looked like maybe the back of the hair of Amandine Henry. Another questionable who got it, but it has gone down as her goal. Certainly didn't get a Chelsea touch on the way through. Any touch it did get was scant. All about the delivery, Pat.
Yeah, well, I said at the time I thought it hit the ponytail. Just a tiny little bit of the forehead maybe as well. You could start talking about should there be a player in the back post. Some teams do it, some teams don't do it. However, Chelsea reacted really well each time they got it. Now, getting the ball down to this sort of area, you're asking to be tackled. Now, she was tackled, to be fair. First time I thought Bachmann, I wasn't sure how much, just there. And it's difficult to see that as much. Was just a little bit of touch there, but it's a couple of steps before she goes down again.
But with the chance of the away goal there, Frank Kirby not near enough a corner, I'm afraid, and Sarah Bouhaddi, who hasn't had much to do in the Lyon goal, made what could be a crucial stop.
Yeah, I mean, the goalkeeper's well off her line there when the kick's taken. In actual fact, it should be retaken. But if you're a Lyon fan, you're saying, hey, it shouldn't have been a penalty in the first place.
Potentially a huge moment there right on the half-time whistle. Lyon in command, the Holders looking good at the moment. 3/4 of this semi-final to go. We will see the second half next.
Supportrices et supporters, il reste 45 minutes. Ça veut dire que dès maintenant, il faut encourager, il faut pousser nos joueuses jusqu'au bout pour cette demi-finale de Ligue des Champions. Faites du bruit pour le retour des joueuses.
So, big job for Chelsea here, who've not actually won since the first leg home win against PSG in the last round of this. Defeated but through in Paris, that's all that mattered there. There was a 1-1 draw with West Ham and then a most unfortunate FA Cup defeat in stoppage time. The holders knocked out by Manchester City last weekend, and we've seen some more bad luck here, to be honest. Lyon certainly look to have the class we would expect of a five-time winner. But they've also had a bit of fortune, Pat Nevin, so what on earth did Chelsea do, and what do you think Emma would have said to keep those chins up?
You know, it's really delicate what you do at this point in time because you're still in the tie. You would love to get an away goal, but 3-0 down would be a really massive amount against any team, but against this Lyon team. So you have to keep on playing roughly the way you are just now. You think of the goals that Chelsea have lost. They've not generally been some brilliant, beautiful open play. You know, they've got a bit of luck involved in them as well. And Chelsea have to hope that A, they get a little bit of luck, but B, as we can see here, stick together as a team and believe in yourself that you've made chances, had a penalty already, you can get a goal here.
Karen Carney with the armband, cheerleader-in-chief right there for the Chelsea huddle.
The biggest worry is maybe the pace and the break now from Lyon in this second half, because they do look a sharper bunch.
They have all the know-how and all the experience, Lyon, of these situations. Chelsea still kind of learning on the job. Lyon have won this competition before the Blues are even dreaming with any realism of being a part of it.
There's been a wee tactical change already. Having a look at Emma's team here. And yeah, it was almost like a 4-5-1 in the first half. Now 4-2-3-1 isn't massively different, but it's a little bit different. And I think Engel and G look like the two further sitting back in that midfield. So I'll keep an eye on that. It's still 5 in midfield. It's just a slight little more emphasis on the 3 players going further forward.
2 and a 3 in 2 distinct lines, perhaps. We shall see.
And maybe that's what you're asking about Emma Hayes. What does she do in the second half? Well, you know, those attack-minded players that you're talking about, you know, Carney, Kirby, Cuthbert, getting them a chance to go up.
The attack straight away, Le Sommet. Cut inside Maren Mjelde.
Fair Chelsea, there'll be a lot of discussion, I suppose, about that penalty kick. A, whether it was or whether it wasn't on Bachmann, but also the goalkeeper was so far off her line when the kick was taken, it should have been retaken. So that's for another day, and maybe after the game to discuss and complain slightly about. But to take nothing away, you're playing against the top side, and if you switch off, they'll damage it.
Just on that one there, it's what the officials are there for, isn't it? Even in formats of the game where we do see VAR, you know, it never seems to get given, that one.
That one was miles of really, really clear. It's not one of those ones that was half a yard off the line. It was well off the line, Buhadi.
Here's G. To Bachmann. Won that penalty. With whatever quotation marks or italics you'd like to use. There might have been one earlier for a clip on Carney, who was perhaps a little too honest. Big switch here, and a good one looking for Mjelde, whose first touch was lovely, and she's in! Maren Mjelde! Another huge moment that Buhadi comes out the better of.
That's maybe one of the best games that it moves of the game. That's a brilliant pass. He's won both the tackles there. To be fair, Renard has not actually impressed me hugely in this game. She misses tackle after tackle. She's not very good when you twist and turn near her. But Hadi's kept her side in this game. It could have been 2-2 just before and after half-time.
Well, you begin to think, is this encouraging? Or is it just not going to be Chelsea's day? Because either side of the interval, the keeper's bailed out her defence there for sure. Wendy Renard, a massive sigh of relief. What a chance for Mjelde, the hero in Paris, with that away goal that made all the difference. It's a commanding header from Renard, who clearly will prefer to do her defending in that kind of area. But the threat is there, no doubt about it.
I mean, that's the thing about Renard. I think if you see now, right, you can see the weaknesses. Put it up in front of her and she has to go and attack it. She'll win it. She's fine with that. In fact, she's brilliant at that. She's got decent pace as well. However, you ask her questions with tight situations and twisting and turning. The type of players that Chelsea have got, she's not always making the right decisions. Correct decision by the assistant referee.
On the presumption the groundsman was doing his job with the lines anyway. We always judge it from that, don't we? I presume they're perfect. Right in front of the assistant. Well, Bouhaddi hasn't had to do much, but the two things she's had to do are stellar moments. Two big saves where the attacking player was a heavy favourite for sure. Kirby overhits it for Bachmann.
Yeah, but she made that's the right pass. I don't mind if you get the right pass wrong. You know, the run's made there. She sees it. She tries to play almost a no-look ball there to confuse the defenders a little bit. So it was the right thing to do. She just wasn't able to produce the right pace on it.
Looks as if Hannah Blundell may be the plan that Emma Hayes had for if something hadn't happened in the early moments of the second half. Chelsea through and through. One of the longer-serving players at the club. Drew Spence also on the bench, who's recently passed the 10th year anniversary as a Chelsea player. Carney wasn't pulling out of that one.
What a good start to the second half from Chelsea. Really up for it. I mean, we all know the quality of Emma Hayes as a coach, but she's got those players up at the start of the second half. The question is, can they keep it going? I mean, there's no reason to suggest that maybe Leon might turn near the end of the game as well, so we don't know that yet.
Yeah, this is a side, as I mentioned in the first half, they don't concede many chances, never mind goals. They could easily, should have conceded at least one, if not two here. You just wonder, when you talked about the legs, as we see Kirby and Renard going at it again, how much extra you might get through adrenaline back from having pulled that goal back, whether it's from the penalty or that Mjelde chance. That bit of tiredness maybe is just staved off for that little bit longer.
And also psychologically, the effect it would have on the opposition. I mean, they've not had a lot of the ball so far in the second half of Leon. It's only 5 minutes old, but you know, if they'd have lost a goal there, it would be a really bad situation. However, they're breaking again.
It's Cascarino, Hegerberg in the middle, and Marajan in there too, and the cross is comfortably dealt with by Maren Mjelde. Well, she'll be thinking about that chance when she's not doing defensive duty. She's having to here as Marajan cuts it back, and Millie Bright gets enough on it. If I could just have it over again, thinks Maren Mjelde. Too close to the keeper.
To be honest, she did everything just about right. She kept on target, she thumped it, she didn't, you know, bottle it in any way. It was a decent save as well, so, you know, and obviously if you're coming all the way from right back, you've probably done a bit of work to get that far.
Basha. Bob to Fishlock. Renard with the ambitious pass.
She's neat when she does that sort of stuff. She's had a couple of good, you know, raking 40, 50-yard balls across the pitch, Renard, when she's given a little bit of space. That's a cut back there that, I mean, Hegerberg loves that position. She always gets in there. She would remind you of Olivier Giroud, always getting to the near post.
They are the best at the moment. In general terms in the women's game and on the day, but for the one of Chelsea trying. Cascarino again here. It's on target, it's not much more than that. She really has been the most regular threat raiding from the right back. Great first touch.
Have a look at Eriksen's leg here though. She goes to put it out, thinks, nope, I'm not going to put it out that time. Absolutely not. She thought about it and she went, no, well, I can't do that. And that was correct. You've got to leave your goalkeeper to deal with that then. But you're right, she has been good down that right-hand side. And it's a real danger area for Chelsea. And that's not because there's a weakness in Chelsea left. That's because they're very, very good on the right. And by the way, Renard and, you know, her mate Bok beside her, their raking passes from centre-back are fabulous.
Cascarino for Marajan, who's onside and will get it in. Hagerberg! For her, that's a really good chance and a really long way off.
Well, 3 times she's made that exactly the same run. They get to the byline, they will cut it back towards the 6-yard line. You keep an eye on her here. She goes in to come out and gets a lot of space there. Now, you've got to know that now. She's going to do it every single time. That's her stock and trade. She will go in to come out, and they will always cut the ball back. You know, the problem is if you then go and try and block that, she goes and does the other run. But you now know what she likes to do.
Here's Bronze, 2-time PFA Player of the Year in England. That was not a pass befitting. She'd expected a run that never came from Cascarino.
He has looked a worried man, hasn't he? Renald Pedros. And rightly so. I mean, he knows now this tie could be wide open. It actually could have been in Chelsea's favour at the moment. You consider, as the game goes on, chance for chance. There's not much in it.
The away goal factor, of course, will be a factor again a week from today when they meet at Kings Meadow with that threat from Lyon. But, you know, just 2-1 here, you would bite the hand off for that, and Chelsea should have it, frankly.
Just keep remembering, be brave, you know that you're capable of creating those chances. I mean, there's, you mentioned the penalty, but also the other one from Karen Carnaby, she had a chance as well, which is a pretty, not a great chance because there was players between her and the goal. Just tells you it's there, there's a possibility. Keep going.
Renald Pedros was a French international himself. Pretty good time for French international football. The side have gifted it away there to Carney, who makes the pass count to Kirby and back again. Backman.
Unfortunately there, knew exactly what she was trying to do.
Yeah, it was meant for Jonna Andersson, and Katalin Kulshar, the Hungarian referee, was right in line.
Well, there's nothing you can do about it. If you're the referee, you're wearing a bright yellow shirt. You know you're there. You know you're there. So, but once again, the neat passing in that kind of final third area, the final pass hasn't been great all the time from Chelsea, but this little sort of play here, you know, I'm not sure Leon all the time can actually live with it, but it's not making that final long, you know, taking a chance pass. That's not the right thing to do there.
Here comes Le Sommet. And she's got it past Mjelde, but not past Berger. Apologies, by the way, if you picked up something you'd rather not have heard on a Sunday afternoon. Cited Renald Pedros on the touchline.
Yes, in English as well, not in French. But it shows you the fear. There is a fear now. Not a fear, I would say, that's pushing it a little bit. A certain concern in the French ranks just now. And the players will know that as well. You're on that pitch just now, and you suddenly think, we were controlling this game. And even though at 2-0 up, they still are.
Chelsea will have to deal with this corner, and good distance on the punch from Berger. Still alive, as Renard glances the header wide. Well, they're not used to being troubled, as I mentioned, and the fact that Chelsea could and should have got a goal here. It's clearly of concern to Pedros, who's doing his fruit from time to time on the touchline. Here's G. And Ingle. Jonna Andersson. G again. Awareness of who and what was around her.
That time she thought about playing, you know, the World Cup ball, as it were, the big one. We've just done it again. That's the one that we're giving away just slightly too often, Chelsea. You can't do that. It's a simple mistake, but it puts everybody under pressure, and all that hard work, you know, you have to go and win the ball back again. It's giving the ball away without being under pressure. It's not acceptable at this level.
Well, noticeable just how since they won it, Lyon didn't safe passes first until the Basher cross. Obviously, you could try something more ambitious once you get to the final third. Here's Mjelde playing it cool. Millie Bright playing it safe.
Oh, no nonsense, Millie.
Kirby has just caught Amandine Henry here. It's the least convincing goal celebration I've ever seen. He stuck her arm up as if to say, I think I might have flicked that. And it has been given to her, as has this free kick.
Not sure she meant every part of it, but it doesn't matter. It was all about the delivery. The delivery was brilliant, and they've got another chance to put good delivery in again now.
And it's Marajan again. And Renard wins it, Berger gets enough, and Carney clears for Chelsea, who must believe they can get the next goal of this game. And indeed must. As Mbop plants his one wide.
Yeah, they're putting a little bit of pressure on now. Lyon, that first 10 minutes or so, just a little bit more than that for Chelsea, but I think Lyon have decided now we need to get that third goal, and they really are laying it on thick now.
Marajan. Somme, and Berger comes again and didn't get there that time, did she? No, it was Renard first.
But I like the fact that she's coming. I like the fact that Berger, she's come quite a few times now and punched it really well most of the time. She's timed it well. She's also putting off, you know, the likes of Renard there a little bit. And that she needs to do that because Renard's got such an advantage with that height. To be honest, I think Berger's done very well there. The big question remains, how far do you push it now? Really desperate to get that away goal, but playing it sensibly, and I'm sure Emma Hayes is saying to her team, just don't give silly balls away. If you give a ball away when you're trying something special, and by the way, what a lovely ball that was by Millie Bright.
Carney pushing Cascarino the other way for once. We haven't seen the Hayes change yet. We've hit the hour mark. She was talking to Hannah Blundell earlier, but just been a tactical chat before coming on. Something preparatory. There's Carter on the bench too. Drew Spence. Get you a goal from midfield. Bright.
It's unnecessary again now. We're both the right-hand side. We've got ball on the right-hand side. There's an easy ball to play down there. And to be fair, Millie, she's all heart. She plays every single ball, every single pass, every single tackle, as if her life depended on it. So you could never feel as if you could go hard on her in any way, because she's she's just a heart. I mean, to be honest, right now I'm watching her every time she gets the ball. She's actually given Hegerberg very little this afternoon, hasn't she? And she's got to be proud of that, even if they're 2-0 down.
There is Hegerberg with a neat little layoff. Marajan to Cascarino. Anderson shows her inside. Cascarino goes for goal, and that's a big slice.
To be honest, Cascarino wasn't the one I thought was going to be the big danger. You know, the others that we were expecting. She's actually looked really good down that right-hand side. And she doesn't play every week. I mean, she's not always in the team, but she's certainly staking a claim in this one. Maybe the slightly concerning thing for Chelsea, if you were looking at today, I think the biggest players have maybe been Sophie Engel and Millie Bright. More defensive-like players. We just need that little bit more from the creative ones up front. You know, they're working hard enough. They've given away a lot of their strength and energy chasing back for large parts of the game. When they get in that final third, the final ball hasn't always been good enough.
I think you could add into that Karen Carney, who can be an offensively minded player, but has had to play with a more defensive, sensible head-on. Berger should get there ahead of Hegerberg.
Hegerberg was a bit miffed there. She thought she'd get her toe stamped on. I loved Berger's attitude of, like, who are you?
Didn't even look, did she?
Nope. No effect. That's what you have to be in a football field. It doesn't matter how important or how famous the player is, they're just a player.
A brilliant header from Eriksson. I'm winning that. Out the way. Carney giving Bronze something to think about going the other way. G and Kirby are there. And here is Kirby. Ingle to G. Backman so nearly threaded that through.
Do you know what? Have a look at that Lyon defence, though. How hard they've worked. We talk about their quality. That's a brilliant through ball. That's exactly. Chelsea did everything right there. But look what's happening now.
Gascarino outpacing Anderson. Been a really tough game for Jonna Anderson, this. Hagerberg again with a little short near post run. Henry, Gascarino again onside. Keep looking out for that movement from Hagerberg.
Yeah, she's always wanted to do it.
Fishlock, half an hour to play before 90 and maybe more minutes at Kings Meadow a week from now. The champs looking good. Basha.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well done, referee. No. Well spotted. That's not a free kick either.
Nope. Le Sommet. Everyone waiting for a whistle that never came. Quite rightly that it didn't blow.
I mean, now watch the Lyon players. They're filtering back now. They're thinking, OK, then, if you've got the ball there, we're not going to absolutely kill ourselves and chase it down and leave all our energy just chasing shadows just now. They're closing down neatly there. But when they've got the ball, Chelsea get the ball in the last third, have a look at how many defensive players are back there. Their attitude has been brilliant from those Lyon defenders and the midfielders. They have worked so hard and well disciplined, and the manager's got them really organised. They're an impressive side.
Captain here, Reynard's not been without their errors. It's a long ball and a flick on from Marajan to no one.
She reminding you of anyone else? As a player, those long raking balls from the back and the big hair?
David Luiz.
Correct. I usually get David Luiz in most commentaries.
Yep, you'll find a way. Kirby. No free kick. But a throw. Perhaps it shouldn't have been. Approaching the final quarter, Sophie Ingle for Chelsea. Had two standout moments either side of the half-time interval. A penalty in first half stoppage time saved. And Maren Mjelde on the burst. Unable to take advantage of Renard's mistake. Two big stops from Sarah Bouhaddi.
Tell you what, Mjelde again there in a brilliant position. She's got the Lucy Bronze look about her at the moment, the way she's flying forward into that area just now. She's looking to get into great position. She is continually looking for. She's up there again, of course, danger of the break there, but she's playing almost as a right winger.
The applause for the very neat play that Lyon applied there to get themselves out of a, not exactly a pickle, but a slightly tight jam. Game just a little bit calmed at the moment. Jess Fishlock, Champions League winner with Frankfurt in their time, WSL player in the Bristol days. Bronze with the cross, Bright with the header. G looking for options ahead of her. Backman is one of them. Basha is with her, and she's got the better of her. Ramona Backman now. Can Kirby find some space in the middle? Here's G. Chelsea have players up here. She's gone the way of the traffic, and it's not even going to be a corner, I don't think, or did that go over? No, it didn't.
It was 3 against 7, though. I mean, it's a great break, but the work great from the defenders to get back there. And it was exciting, and it was a great run there. Backman getting up there looking as if she's got great pace, get control of the ball. There's still a big wall of white shirts in front of her there, and it's one of those moments you think, you almost feel as if you've earned it to get a little bit of a chance out of that, but it almost never looked like it because of the defending and the work rate of the home side. player again by Millie Bright. Superb.
Dependable back there for club and for country, Millie Bright. When we first saw her playing regularly for Chelsea, she was in a defensively minded midfield role. I remember being at Wheatsheaf Park, Staines, for Chelsea's first adventure in this competition against Glasgow City. And, you never saw a set of meteor challenges that Millie Bright was putting in the middle of the park there, but a centre-half now for sure.
Yeah, but to be honest, she's scarcely put her foot wrong in this game. Chelsea will finally make that change that they've been trying to make for a little while, and I think Fran's actually put in one hell of a shift, hasn't she?
Well, for her and her side, a case perhaps of what might have been, what might still be for those that remain. Beth England, the club's top scorer this term, is on. Unusual, but she does have one league goal more than Fran Kirby. Beth England scored in the FA Cup too, 7 times in the League Cup. She's on. Chelsea need a goal from her or anyone.
I think what Emma Hayes has looked at there, Chelsea breaking, but not really having the blistering pace when getting there. You need somebody up there who's fresh-legged now, somebody up there who's going to be able to bust into space very, very quickly, because the opposition get back quickly, they work hard, they work for each other, they're well organised. We won't get that many chances, Chelsea. You have to make sure that when they come, they've got somebody that's up for it. That's why England's there.
Queuing up again. It's another decent delivery and 2 skimming heads. Put enough distance on it from Chelsea's perspective. That's neatly played by G to Jonna Andersson, but just scooting in very calmly to pinch it off at Amandine Henry.
Doing good defending there, and I think they've been watching the Icelanders, was it?
It seems to have spread.
Oh, I tell you what, she's been caught there.
Jess Fishlock, I'm not sure the referee saw it.
Didn't, absolutely right behind her. She must have got a word there from her assistant on the far side without a shadow of a doubt, because that was a complete wipeout. Seems to be a wee bit of frustration in that tackle there. Again, an unnecessary free kick in a quite dangerous area. Just behind her here, wipeout.
Nearly took the referee with her, Ramona Bachmann. A naughty one with the back turned. It's a full 30 yards with a full 20 minutes plus stoppage time left for Chelsea to try and take something back to Kingsmeadow. Lyon, the 5-time winners and reigning Champions League holders, 3 times over, in charge very much of the tie. Marojan, who's been quality in this game again, is the right-footed option, and it would appear the only option now.
A long way out as well, but I wonder if she's going to try and dink it over to Reynard at the back post here.
Millie Bright, more than aware of what's on her right shoulder.
Well, I think Chelsea will take that all day long. Most of the time, Berger has looked very comfortable. England's first chance to get the ball, and that's it. The real liveliness about her play, and I think that's important. Just hope she gets a chance to run at it. Good break now on the left-hand side.
Haven't seen much of this for Jonna Andersson. She's had to have a defensive hat on for most of this game. G. Nice little clip into England. Cuthbert! A brilliant goal! Wonderfully made, beautifully finished. Away goal there in Cuthbert and Chelsea.
I have to say, I'm not shocked by that in the end. The quality is absolutely outstanding. And by the way, Emma Hayes, well done with that substitution, because who knocks the ball down for England? And she's caught it, left foot there. Nothing the goalkeeper can do. The technical ability there, and of course the bounce just in front of the goalkeeper as well. That is a fabulous goal. If that was Hegerberg up the other side, we would be screaming about it all day long. What a goal. We've got a game on.
Well, you wondered if the heads would drop. They haven't. You wondered if Chelsea could find a way through after spurning 2 such wonderful chances. Well, they have. And that was only a half chance, if that. What a hit from Erin Cuthbert, her 4th Champions League goal. She got a big one in the last 8 in the first leg against PSG. She's done it again, but heads on at the back for Chelsea now. Free kick. Lucy Bronze on the burst, underlapping run this time.
Yeah, you just have to keep an eye on her the whole time, and sometimes you have to take one for the team. And I think that's what happened on this occasion. Just, you know, she's getting away there. Just make sure you stop her in any way possible. I don't think the yellow card did come out there, but the next one might be yellow. Big moments now. You're getting in towards the last 15 minutes or so, and I think right now Chelsea and everybody involved with Chelsea would say 2-1, we'll have that.
Yeah, 20 minutes is a long time to run down the clock, or maybe, you know, Emma Hayes is very ambitious, picked an ambitious-looking side. Maybe they're thinking they're not fully on their game here, maybe they've underestimated us, Lyon. Try and get even more, but yeah, for sure, you'd take 2-1. 1-0 would be enough back at Kings Meadow, but it's a long way from being 2-1 full-time here. Basher with a bash, and that's good hands from Berger. It's funny, I'll never understand modern keepers. Half the time they punch when you feel like they could catch it. That's a risky one to try and catch in a way, Pat, with the way the balls move.
With everyone chasing down on her, she cannot allow that to pop away at all in any way whatsoever, and she didn't. That's a great save. Do you know what? Just that little change there, with bringing Beth England on, what a difference that's made to the game. It's lengthened a bit. Chelsea can go longer now. She's got that pace to get in behind. I tell you what, you know, you wouldn't put it past Chelsea now. You sneak another one.
England into Cuthbert and back again. Beautifully moved. Backman just for a moment had Basher isolated. How ambitious do they want to be? Milder has a pocket picked.
Great tackle there. Really worked hard, hasn't she, Milder? You think about it. I mean, she's supposedly right back. How much time has she spent up that far side there in the right wing? She's been absolutely superb in this second half.
Well, it's not often people give him something to worry about. He's only been in the job a couple of years. Needless to say, it's gone quite well for Renaud Pedros. If you're thinking, where do I know that name from in the French side? He was just before the World Cup class of '98 was when he played, so it was more with Ginola and Cantona and early Djorkaeff years and that sort of thing.
Good team, but not the greatest team in the world, which they became for a short time.
They are used to winning, and they are still winning this one, but
this is what
to see Chelsea giving them a problem.
Yeah, but and at no point looking in any way as if fearful of anyone.
You can hear Emma Hayes cheering on Beth England, and she's done enough. Cuthbert now, and still Cuthbert nearly burst through. Brilliantly done by Lucy Bronze. There was nothing to her left, she had to go solo then.
And that's the right thing to do. It could have ended up in a penalty, anything at all. What a game we've got now. This game's just got better and better.
15 to play, plus a bit of stoppage time. Lyon coming forward again here.
But you're kind of delighted if you're, you know, a Chelsea supporter watching that there. You go down the right-hand side, that's a great opportunity to get the ball in. That looked like a bit of a tire cross to me. So you get 14 minutes left, and you keep on asking the question, what do? Do you stick or twist? And you kind of look, I don't know if Emma's team can do it any other way. I think they feel as if they're getting stronger. They might as well push to try and get that second goal.
And Lyon obviously have confidence going forward, so basically they're both twisting, is the answer to that. There's no sticking going on by anybody here.
Absolutely love it. That's...
Oh, no. It's a dodgy one, and Berger's going to have to be quick, and she was. Look out for the shot, though. Crowd wanted it, and Millie Bright should mop up.
Heart and mouth stuff again. Just switched off there. It was, there was a Premier League game that happened recently. There was a pass back, and very similar right back. We'll come back to me in a moment. Both players just ignored the ball. It can happen, but it just looked awful for a moment there.
It's becoming, as someone once said, end-to-end stuff. Here's Amandine Henry. Deep cross, and Le Sommet round the back. Didn't get much of it. It's a good job from Berger's point of view.
I think she's been brilliant setting up Berger. I think she's an absolute...
By the way, that's the right back in there. Lucy Bronze was Getting clattered by Chelsea's keeper.
Do you know what? I hate seeing Lucy Bronze going down like that because she's been so unlucky with injuries. That doesn't look as if it's hit the knee or anything like that, so I'm hoping she'll be okay. Big tournament's coming up. Obviously nobody wants to get injured at the moment. See it again here. It's how she's... I think maybe Berger's fell down on her right calf or her left calf.
Right, drink break, tactics chat and a substitution. Adelina Engman is on for Bachmann, the Finn. Scored a Champions League goal in Sarajevo in the last 32.
Do you know what that tells you, though? It tells you that Emma's only looking one direction. Emma Hayes is thinking, I want to win this. Well, certainly I want to get another goal. And certainly England, when Ramona Bachmann's put herself put herself out and worked herself into the ground there like all the players have. But pace near the end of the game, I think they've spotted that there's a weakness there, there's a tiredness there in that back line.
So, realistically, 15 minutes or so to play. And that's a very tired and sloppy pass. Chelsea can ill afford just take the free kick, I think, to be honest. Le Sommet definitely fouled.
3 or 4 times that's happened in the game where, you know, there's breaks from Leon and just stop the play, kill the play. In that occasion it was Mielda. It's not been the same player every time. They've chosen the right thing to do it. It's quite professional, that.
The 5 on the sleeve of the Lyon players, a reminder of their unrivaled pedigree in this competition. Clipped in by Marajan towards the familiar target of her captain.
And her familiar shadow.
That's too deep to be troubling anyone.
Yeah, I think Millie Bright won that header again there, but she got clattered in the face for her troubles. She'll cope with that. Don't turn away, this is a great game.
First it was Iceland they were copying, now it's Lech Poznan.
Yeah.
And Pat wanted to see Kumagai today. Well, we're going to. The Japanese international looks as if, unless, I think you have to wear the bib, don't you, unless you're coming on, so we're going to see her for what remains of this game. Anyway, those that are on the field, 10 minutes plus whatever is added on, and here is Jess Fishlock.
It really has ebbed and flowed, but it's flowing in Leon's favour at the moment, just for a few moments.
Out by Engman. What a goal that was by Erin Cuff, but you hope it means something in the final analysis. Deserves to.
Yeah, people from that part of the world are very, very talented.
I can't think of any more to hand right now, but I'm sure you're right. That game I was mentioning earlier where Millie Bright played in midfield against Glasgow City, a very young Erin Cuthbert was playing in Glasgow City.
Do you know, I was going to ask you about that, actually. I thought she might have been in that game.
Jess Fishlock will make way ahead of, presumably, a return to the British Isles a week from now. Kumagai, her replacement, Japanese international, who's been shortlisted for the BBC Women's Player of the Year.
Jess Fishlock actually had a really neat game in there as well. It's a real battle for... She was controlling the game for 15 or 20 minutes at the start, less so as the game went on. Good break for Chelsea again there. 2 up front now with Chelsea, real strength in that sort of area.
And ragged, and numbers up as Beth England just sort of squirts one wide. That was a real scrap in the middle.
Do you know, it's like special teams. We've brought on England and Engman now. You've got the 2 of them up front. Now this is a completely different set of questions you're asking that Lyon defence, and they don't look that comfortable with them.
Just needed someone out wide maybe as a passing option at the moment. Bouadi beaten once by a belter from Erin Cuthbert. 2 really big saves. I mean, the best 2 saves of the game have been made by her. There was one early in the first half from Berg. It was pretty sharp from Hagerberg, but 2 huge stops either side of the break from Bouadi. Otherwise, Lyon might be in a bit more trouble.
The one thing I would say about Berger, she's had to deal with a lot of difficult crosses and good quality crosses, and this second half in particular, she's dealt with them fantastically well.
Amel Majri dropped from the starting 11 for this first leg, but well, coming on here, although possibly not for Eugenie Le Sommet, no, whose number initially went up, but it will be Delphine Cascarino. That was essentially the change they made pre-match from the second leg of their last against Wolfsburg. By the way, they beat Wolfsburg 2-1 in the first leg in this stadium, and then went to Germany and won 4-2. So, just in case you're thinking, I'm sure no one was thinking it might be comfortable, more comfortable for Chelsea in the second leg. It won't. They'll have to play every bit as well as this, and arguably take better advantage of the opportunities that do come. But the encouragement will be, whatever happens by full time here, that those chances are there, Pat, because they've scored one, could easily, should really have had another one or two.
Yeah, and to be honest, there's no need to be fearful. Absolutely no need to be fearful now, because you know you've got enough quality as well, Chelsea, to create those chances that you're talking about. And what's really impressed me in this second half, but obviously Emma Hayes always impresses. She's made some changes that have adapted the game and changed the game much better than the opposition coach. His changes don't seem to have affected the game anywhere near as much. She continues to impress, and Chelsea, they look like they're getting stronger as the game goes on.
Let's be greedy and see if we can sneak another one here. Kaz Carney on corner duty. 6-7 up. Just looking at the bus queue there with England and Ingle. And it comes towards Millie Bright, and, well, Renard always the favourite. Carney will have another go. Lovely dummy. And they're all still up waiting for the Carney cross. It's Henri. Floated into a not so dangerous area, unfortunately, that time by Carney. Jonna Anderson gets her block in.
That's big there for Anderson, because she was closed down there by Le Sommet really quickly. She could not afford to lose it there. Lyon were on the break really quickly, but she managed to do the right thing. Another player who's actually had a really, really good game in this second half. What Chelsea players don't want to think about is what happened to them in the semi-final of the FA Cup. They do not need any late heartbreak. They've done well to get back into this tie, and they're definitely in this tie. They don't want to lose a chance at a goal now, especially as it's been so positive. And that's a shame, that, because she's so desperate to turn and run behind there. She's not taking enough care of the pass, but in actual fact, she's tried to do exactly the right thing there. So I wouldn't complain about Beth England's movement there.
Majri. Emma Hayes is entertainment herself on the touchline. Always is, always has been. Constantly urging her players on.
Managed to keep language clean as well. You can see her in here. It's just got a little bit scrappy just now.
Offside will do, though.
But a little bit scrappy, and you're absolutely right. It's almost about greed. Do you know that? Just that little moment there, when Millie Bright goes in and wins that header. For me, that sums up the best of Chelsea today. Their fight has been brilliant. I'm sure those fouls have hated. That's not a foul, surely. I'm sure. I mean, even with the greatness of Ida Hegerberg, she really hated playing against Millie Bright today. If she is the best in the world, you know, she's not really got much out of her. And then we have a free kick given there by the assistant referee. I'm not so sure about that. But you're right, I mean, the greed part comes in now. You're just thinking Chelsea have done so well to get back in, and I'll be interested to hear the comments from Emma Hayes afterwards, you know. Is she disappointed? Happy with it? I think she should be happy with it, but it could have been better. It's not finished yet, though.
England ever the willing runner. And there's another towering Millie Bright header.
Come on, you're going to give her player of the match, aren't you? She's pretty close to it.
Basher to Mbok. Three plus add-ons. wonder if either side is thinking about now settling for what they have. Maybe both, maybe neither, because it depends on where the ball is on the pitch. Right now, it's safely at the feet of Anne-Katrin Berger.
Well, Basha's not actually got that left-hand side that often, but she's slowing that side, and I think she looks more comfortable getting forward when she's got Marjorie in front of her. Marjorie's a player who, although she's got number 7 in her back playing left wing, she's perfectly comfortable at left back as well, so those two can switch with each other.
There is Marjorie.
For an offside position again.
Most helpful from a Chelsea perspective.
Yeah, well spotted by the assistant referee in the far side there. Wasn't it an obvious one to see? I mean, the players must be exhausted just now. I mean, the effort that's been put into this game's been incredible. You know that you've been worrying about this game beforehand. It's a Champions League semi-final, so there's physical and mental stuff going on there as well.
No flag. Everyone looked across, Hagerberg included. There's just a little too much pace on the through ball.
Well, I'd have been looking at the assistant referee as well there, because I definitely thought that was offside. I mean, it was a good run, good movement. She probably could have got that under control there. Fortunately for Chelsea, she didn't.
90 seconds of normal time.
Just, I would love to see one chance for Beth England to get a run at a defender, just using pure pace. I mean, she's not been on for long enough. She's already, I mean, she's had an assist, we'll give her that. She already had an assist. But I just feel she might have the pace of a defender she's playing against.
Carney with a pull back there.
Again, Karen has to do, she just has to do it, doesn't she? She'll keep on going back, she'll keep on doing the ugly work back there. You've got to do it sometimes. I mean, she's lucky she's not been booked to.
Well, nobody has, unless my...
Well, it's not where the dirty came, that's the point. The chances... Well, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Marajan in towards him, Bok, and Berger gets a good punch on that. Cuthbert there on the second ball, but the danger is not over from a Chelsea perspective. It should be now. Relatively speaking, that is. It's a Lyon throw.
Down. Come on, referee, spot that. Berger's down. She's coming once again. I think she's... Come on, referee. Yeah, she spotted it now. I was getting a wee bit annoyed with her there for a moment. When the goalkeeper's down, you've got to stop it. Once again, that's one of those horrible, tricky ones. You need to come over the top of players. She's almost second favourite. She's got injured for her troubles.
Into the first of 3 added minutes, which will immediately be added to itself. She's okay.
I think she's been superb, honestly. I think particularly second half. You've got to be brave, come over players. You're playing against, some world-class players. You're talking about the height and the power of, the likes of Hegerberg, the likes of Reynard. She has time and time again come in and help her teammates. Not that Millie Bright's men need a lot of help for most of this game, to be fair.
It's amazing, isn't it, that 2-1 you'll say, great, take it, yes please. 3-1 would feel like disaster, especially if it came as late as we are now. 2 added minutes. I mean, you'd look at this game as a whole, you'd say, could have been better, could have been worse, but it very much is game on going into that second leg. And Lyon know, if they didn't before, but they know that Chelsea can really pose them a threat, Pat.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it's almost all positives from a Chelsea point of view. Spence will come on now just to close out the game a little bit at the moment. You can understand that. You want to get to the end, you don't want to lose something in these last few seconds here. She is, like a lot of players, having a lesser influence as the game is going on, but no wonder you're in that midfield. The amount of running you've had to do. So Drew Spence will come on.
Having earlier this month clocked up a 10th year as a Blue, Drew Spence scored goals in this competition, scored goals in a lot of competitions. Although, way down this year in WSL terms, just 1 in the league. Harder to get in as a regular starter in what has become a very strong Chelsea squad. And you've seen more evidence of that here. Lyon, arguably the strongest of all squads. Eriksson taking no chances. I thought Berger might have come for that.
You were just a moment there with Eriksson. She's had such a tough time recently. But you know what? This second half, she's put it behind her, and she's played really well.
Don't get too deep, says Emma Hayes from the touchline. They were a little then. This is Majri for Lyon, looking to make their lead.
These are massive moments, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they want that wider lead, not this narrow one.
Oh,
and we've had the 3 added minutes, but we'll have extra, Pat, because there was the little bit of a check on Berger.
It's only going to be 30 seconds. It can't be a full minute. It wasn't that big a check on Berger, so I think it comes down to managing to get this corner away somehow. Berger must be tempted to come out and punch it. You would know how dangerous they are. They've already scored for one corner. It's all about this moment.
Marajan in towards that near post again. And I think there was a push. The whistle went there before the ball had even crossed the byline.
I think the referee didn't want a goal to be scored after 3 minutes of injury time.
And there will be no more injury time. Chelsea have mixed it with the best here, and they have given the best some real problems. Down by 2-0 at the break, and having missed a penalty, you'd have worried for them. But Cuthbert's brilliant goal, an away goal, takes us to Kingsmeadow with this tie alive. Really interesting game.